Welcome back to the channel. Today we are installing push rods, rockers, and torquing everything down. So stay tuned. So they go either way. I'm just gonna put the words up. And I'll install the push rods. Putting some assembly lube, Lucas assembly lube. And I've had this sitting on the floor, so it's about 60 degrees. Put a lot on there. One. So I'm pushing them down. I'm pushing down the lifter itself. Because that lifter sits a little bit high in the bore, it's not on the lobe of the cam yet. I push down with my thumb each push rod just to make sure that lifter is contacting the lobe of the cam. Then before I install the rockers, I'm just doing one last final wipe and inspection. And then from there, we just go ahead and assemble everything down. So I'm not gonna put these in all the way tight because torquing sequence, I'll just turn it until there's no pressure on them, and then I'll lock it down. There is a top and a bottom, so there's a machine boss on there, and this is round. So obviously the round goes down and the machine boss is up. So once I got the hang of it, I got myself into routine to put some oil on the lifter spring and on the push rod socket on the rocker, set it in place, install the bolt, and move on to the next one. Always verifying that I did indeed have the flat at the top and the rounded part of the trunnion to the bottom. Gloves are too slippery. Gloves are really expensive, so I save them. Just verifying that the bosses are up. And they are. All right, we'll do the other side now. Okay, so it says, lube the exhaust valve, push rail, and seat on the lifter. I did that, had the stuff. Tighten the exhaust factory bolt to factory torque spec of 22. The left half turn will be snug because you're compressing that lifter. Rotate the crankshaft, or rotate the crank clockwise until the exhaust push rod reaches its maximum height, which would be all the way up, pushing the valve down. This places the intake valve lifter on the heel, number 1 cylinder's exhaust lobe. So do they mean heel as a base circle? But I would assume right now that both of these are closed because I'm at top dead center. But I'll do what they say. I'll tighten this one to 22, then I'll rotate it, then I'll do that one. And then I'll just have to work through go from 1 to 8, I think to 7. I have it written down. Okay, let's go with this guy first. Okay, so I don't get that. It's kind of, why is that all rocky glue like that? Why does that have that kind of clickiness in it? Okay, I mean this should line itself up, right? So I can feel it compressing. That's what's got to be happening there. Okay, that's kind of tight. That moves, so that's snug. Look at it, move it a little more there. Okay. Now that's good. Okay, so put that guy down. And where did that little tool go? There we go. Good thing it didn't fall in. And now we go to 22. Oh, we go to 20, 21, 22. Okay. So, okay, that's 22. Yep. And look again. 22. Okay, that's one. So now I'm going to spin that. And I just want to make sure everybody else is really, really loose. And I'll just keep an eyeball on that. And if it gets kind of tight, I'm going to stop. And I'm watching all of them go up and down. Okay, so that's one rotation, so that exhaust valve has got to push all the way up. So here we go. We'll watch this guy. Okay, he's pushing up. So everybody's still okay. Everybody's still loose except for him. And it's going up some more. But now it's starting to go down. So we're gonna leave it like that, and then we'll tighten this guy down. Because he should be, yeah, because now that push rod, oh, there's my torque wrench. So this kind of sucks, I gotta go back and forth, because it's a 12 millimeter or 8 millimeter 12 point. Okay, so that's got some play there. Give her a little more tight. Okay, we're just gonna go down because I can feel the lifter compressing. So I'm just going slow as that lifter compresses until this stops. So you'll feel it. There it started to get tight. So we'll go to this, and we will torque that down. Okay. Okay, so now number one cylinder is torqued and done. So I gotta go get my flaring order. Oh, Jeepers Christmas. What in the devil? This thing isn't tightening down yet. There it is. Whoo! Wow, and that made me nervous. Like nervous. Not just a little nervous, that was nervous. Okay. Woo! At this point, I just continue to familiarize myself with the process. Making sure everything is staying loose as I tighten up each individual rocker. Cylinder 1 and 8 took me the longest only because I was trying to figure things out. It was a lot of rotating the crank and watching the valves, determining when the push rods were in the correct position to tighten it up. A couple of times I confused myself on which way the push rod had to be to make it loose. Took me a couple stabs at a couple of the rocker setups, because I went around, noticed that the rocker was up, then the rocker was down, meaning the push rod was up or the push rod was down. But I eventually get the hang of it and we rip through them. That's wrong. 1, 3, 5. That's supposed to go 1, 8, 7. Oh, then 2 was right here. 2 was right here. I was supposed to do this one. But that doesn't matter. I understand what I have to do. I just got to make sure that they're in the correct position. At this point, I simply got in my own way. Trying to determine the correct positioning and then making sure that I had it all dialed in so that when I turn that key, I didn't end up damaging something. Jesus. Oh man, 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 8. So it's 1, 8, 7, then 2, then 6, then 5, then 4, and then 3. Whew. That's it. Those are torqued down and spun around. It's kind of stressful. Thanks for watching this episode of What's Next Garage. In the next episode, we're going to install the valve cover gaskets and the valve covers, as well as the valley pan and the oil pressure sensor. Stay tuned.